The Dniester Canyon. The word combination itself arouses natural interest. And after you have heard interesting stories about its mysterious beauty, it's no wonder that you feel a desire to see with your own eyes this phenomenon that took hundreds of millions of years to be created. On a fine day in August, we arrive at the picturesque village of Nizhny, which is situated almost in the border of Ternopil and Ivano-Frankivsk regions, to begin our water route on catamarans. The starting point of our route wasn't selected at random. In the district around Nizhny, the Dniester Canyon begins with the unique outcrop dating back to the Jurassic period. It runs through the territory of Ternopil region and ends in a rare outcrop of Silurian deposits near the mouth of the Zbruch, in the district or the village of Trubchina in Borshiv district. In our catamarans, we felt as if we were in nutshells on the big river. But very soon our attention was drawn by the rare scenery. Now a cherry red wall rises in front of us. For us, it's one of the mysteries of the canyon. It's not just an outcrop of the deposits of Lower Devonian period, but one of the significant pages of the great book of existence. And how wonderful it is that endemic and relic plants germinate miraculously on these stone pages, and we are astonished by their aspiration for life, their perfection and colors. We put our oars into the water again and again. We are moving ahead, and more new picturesque paintings of the nature are unveiled to us. We are approaching the ancient village of Koropets in Podillia. We can see the deposits of the Jurassic period of Mesozoic era. In Europe, they are unsurpassed in the quantity of the remnants of fossilized fauna and water plants. Perhaps not everybody knows that the deposits of the Mesozoic and Neogen periods of the Neozoic era are widely used in agriculture, such as chalk, sand, gypsum, limestone and marl. The composition of the Neozoic rocks proves that the deposits were formed near the shores of the Sarmat Sea, which receded to the southeast of prehistoric times. The first day of our trip was coming to an end, and we moored on the left bank. Here, Count Bedelin's palace complex is another place of interest in the park in Koropets. The park is decorated with an exotic giant, maple-leafed plane tree. There is an interesting story about this unique tree. A cruel enemy of Hellas, a Persian ruler Xerxes, started a campaign against the Greeks. On one of the roads, the bloodthirsty conqueror and barbarian comes across a tree, a plane tree which impresses him with its beauty. The ruler bestowed a golden decoration on the noble tree, wrote Herodot in his book History. We sailed to the right bank, which is more comfortable for us to spend the night near the village of Lug. The first night passed successfully there. The next day, having sailed the first several kilometers of the water space, we found ourselves in the era of virgin nature landscape, which stretched from the village of Stila in Podillia. A picturesque panorama can be seen from far away. A steep slope covered with an unbroken green carpet with a vertical travertine rock, with a cave which rises magnificently in the very center of the slope. And a little bit to the left, at the foot of the slope, there are distinct outcrops of the lower Devonian deposits, and further, a unique oasis, wonderful harmony of primordial beauty and great expediency. It's a real piece of old times which survived. Overfilled with a feeling of joy after meeting with beauty, we continue our way towards new impressions and discoveries. We stop near a village which must have got its name due to its relief, Stinka. Up a steep slope, with the help of not only feet by hands as well, we reach almost the top. Some more exertion, and the majority of our group are standing in the cave, which is divided into several grottos. Looking at this unique creation, you start thinking about our ancestors and who they were. It's interesting to know if they were pagans or first Christians pursued for their religion. Someday someone may manage to read these letters of the past epochs, or they may remain a mystery of the nature and man. The trip presented us with still more surprises. We felt as if we were the pioneers of the mysteries of the canyon. We moored to have a rest in a wonderful place near a murmuring stream where a lonely stork stayed for too long. Behind the ridge of a steep hill covered with cold hornbeam wood, there is a village of Kostyren. A spring pulsates powerfully on the rounded top of a travertine rock. The rock impresses with its size, grottos, fanciful forms, and of course a 9-meter-high waterfall with its water from the spring. We often marvel at the beauty of travertine rocks, but few people know that they are formed by the underground springs, because even nowadays we can watch the growth of travertine. The water flowing over moss leaves lime which hardens with time and turns into a stone. Let's leave for a while this marvelous element frozen in stone and listen to the winning accords of a deep different element – water. A rusty stone road winds to the bottom of a huge natural cup framed with a foliage and coniferous forest in the south. There is Chervonogorodsky Canyon, which is 150 meters deep. There are white ruins of an ancient castle in the center of the canyon. The castle used to be the residence of the princes of Halets-Kovolynsk land. But the adornment of the canyon is the waterfall, which is the biggest one in Podillia. Its roar can be heard from the distance of 200 meters. Few people know that Chervonogorodsky waterfall is artificial, unlike other waterfalls in the Dniester Canyon. In the past, the river Jurin flowed by the castle, but people dug a narrow neck of land and let the river flow directly and made its riverbed shorter. Next, let's go from the artificial waterfall to a waterfall created by the nature. The people who loved the nature's beauty say that waterfalls are beards of the earth. They are really one of the most wonderful phenomena of the nature. Rusilivsky waterfall attracts attention of the people who come to have a rest here from different places. The waterfall begins from several powerful springs in the outskirts of the village. Their water is extremely transparent and has excellent taste. Then the springs interflow and give birth to the spring that overcomes limestone and come across a more solid rocks, Devonian sandstone. Falling down, it creates a cascade of waterfalls. Rusilivsky waterfall is a nature's masterpiece, which is not worth speaking about, but worth seeing and hearing. One of the most attractive places of the Dniester Canyon are the outskirts of Khmeleva, with its picturesque look over the whole meander made by the Dniester and surrounded with mountains. Steep slopes of the mountains are covered with a dense forest, and steppe plants cling to the wall. Here, within an area of square meter, you can see up to 10 kinds of endemic and relic plants. You can find Dictemnus albus, which is also called Solomon's seal that cannot be burned. It got its name because in dry weather, this plant oozes a lot of volatile oils. If you put a burning match close to it, the plant will blaze up, but will not be scorched. There is a cross on the top of the observation platform. The parishioners from Khmeleva come here in very dry weather to ask the god for rain, and witnesses say that it always rains after this rite. Without doubt, our story wouldn't have been complete if we hadn't visited the village of Beremyany in Bucha district, if we hadn't seen with our own eyes a well-known Beremyanska wall created by Mount Chervona and two other mountains, Velika Govda and Mala Govda. The mount has its peculiarities. In spring, While there is still snow on the northern slope, grass grows green and primroses shoot their tender petals on the right slope. Some several hundred meters away from Mount Chervona, up the riverbed of the Dniester from a deep cut of Podilske plateau, the river Stripa pours its waters sharply into the Dniester. Together, the two rivers form a picturesque canyon-like valley named Dnistrovsko-Beremlyansky Canyon. Having come to the magic place of the Dniester Eden, few people miss the opportunity of going fishing, because there are excellent conditions for that: a big river, numerous meanders, protected territory, and wonderful primitiveness. And believe it or not, you can catch fish here almost due to your good mood. Our trip is coming to the end in the village of Trubchin in Borshiv district. It's the very place where unique the old importance deposits of high Silurian outcrops near the mouth of the Bruch. Trubchin is the only place where mountain rocks outcrop almost vertically along the distance of 1500 meters. The beauty of the Dniester Canyon will not touch only a heart of stone. It not only fascinates, but is wholesome for human spirit. Dewy mornings, mountain peaks enveloped in fog, golden rays of late afternoon, a river's flow, flowers on stones, a merry tune of a mountain spring, rapid language of a waterfall. They invite you to the wellspring of the divine roots. They force you to think about the high mission of a man, about sense of life, in order to see and feel yourself in unity with the world and the Creator, who fills you with the energy of two mighty sources, the sun and the earth. The life itself and your birth are impossible